Hey guys, so today I am going to talk to you guys about nursing school and the process before nursing school, as well as, if it's really extremely hard like they say it is, and what requirements there are, and some study tips as well. So first things first is that I'm going to talk about prereqs. And, we all know that getting good grades in prereqs is extremely important. So getting good grades in anatomy, physio, micro, bio, whatever, very important. But it's also important to make sure that you know your subject, that you know what you're, learning, what you're talking about, all that stuff is important. And I was one of those people in school that I would not fully understand what they were talking about until after the test. And it's okay. I didn't get bad grades, but I didn't always get straight A's in prereqs because they are a bit challenging. They do have labs. And it's, you don't just take bio or micro. You take all your other classes at the same time. So, you have to read this, do that, take all these silly classes. For example, I took theater when I was taking micro. So theater I thought was going to be an easy A, but it wasn't. Like I had to do things. I had to, act like I was in a play or whatever. So yeah, you do have to keep in mind that just have a schedule and make sure that you pay attention and understand your material. But if you don't get straight A's, it's not the end of the world. Honestly, it isn't. The only thing I would advise is for you to actually, apply everywhere. Absolutely everywhere, especially if you don't have, AAAAA. Even if you have AAAA, I've known many people that have had straight A's almost everywhere, maybe 1B, 1C, and they didn't get accepted everywhere. So don't stress too much about it. Stress about it, but not to, to drive you insane. I do know that you have to apply everywhere because it is a lottery. And at least here in LA, it's a lottery. I don't know if it changes anywhere else in the country or wherever. But it is a lottery here, and basically you fill out an application. They ask you for your prereqs and more. Even in community colleges, there are some community colleges that will ask if you did a humanities class, and some won't. Some will ask if you did a gym class, and some won't. So you put that in, you send it to the school, or you turn it in by yourself. And basically, it's 500, it's like pulling out of a hat. And if you get to be one of the 40 or one of whatever, then you're in. But then there's also alternates. And when you're an alternate, just don't be disappointed, because I've known a few people that have gotten into nursing school just by being alternates. So what I did, I didn't get straight A's. I had A's, B's. I applied to CSUs. I applied to every community college. And basically all the CSUs took me in, but for my alternate majors. So I got in to every CSU that I applied to for kinesiology or for public health, but not for nursing. I was placed as an alternate in CSULA and I believe, I forgot the name, but like Channel Islands. So I was an alternate there. For community colleges, I basically applied to almost every community college that falls under the LACCD community colleges. And I only got accepted to one. And basically I had already said yes to Northridge, that I was going to go there for that major. Because I live near Northridge. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to go to another, school far away. I'm not going to do nursing. And I had already said yes when I got accepted into the current nursing school that I am going. So just see what's good financially for you. I didn't want to go to a private one, for example, like West Coast, because I knew that it wasn't in my budget. It's not that West Coast is a bad school or whatever. It's just, it wasn't in my budget. So I just hadn't thought of applying there. So, I got the phone call, hey, you're accepted, and I went, and I was super happy. So super, super happy. And then my happiness went down because as the day came near, I started hearing people say about how hard and challenging nursing school, was. And this freaked me out. I remember that I was gonna start nursing school like August 25th, 28th, and like August 10th, I think I had like a meltdown. I was like, oh my god, but what about if it's like really as bad as they say and I can't do it and I get kicked out? Or what about it when I'm there, all the things I see, it's gonna freak me out. And I was just, ugh. So, my worst mistake was Googling, is nursing school hard? And I ended up in like a nursing blog. I forgot I think it's something around like all nurses or whatever. And basically everybody, except for like 3, were like,
it's hard. You're not going to have time for yourself. This, that. You're going to miss every party. You're basically not going to have friends.
Just horrible things. Except for a few that were like, guys, it wasn't any much harder than your prereqs. If you studied day and night for your prereqs, then it's not going to be harder than that. And those were the comments that kind of kept me going. But I didn't know what to expect, and it was just really, really frightening. So, just relax. It's hard, but it's doable. Because it is. Trust me, it is extremely hard, and it does take a lot of your time. You basically have to be in a relationship with nursing school. That's the only way I can put it. You have to think nursing morning, day, night, whatever. You're going to be taught the nursing process. Try to put that in your daily life, but also try to do your work ahead of time. Not ahead of time, but this is what I mean. Try to get yourself a planner. And this is my planner. I got it free when I bought my backpack. And basically just put everything in your planner. And so you will get, all these chapters to read. So set aside and be realistic. Be like, I'm going to read chapter 1 and 2 today. I'm going to read this. I'm going to do my ATI assignments today. I'm going to do my whatever today. And just try to do everything so that, hopefully if you have Sunday, you can write, spending time with the family, with my boyfriend, with my rabbit, whatever you have. Just be organized. A planner will save your life. Which leads me to something else. I don't know about other nursing schools, but I literally bought a regular backpack, let me show you. I literally bought this regular backpack and I was just set. I thought it was nice. It was big for all my books. Well, lies I told myself, because that's not the backpack I used my first semester at all. Books are thick and they're heavy, and carrying them in and out hurts you. So I ended up having to take a rolling backpack to school on my first semester. Now in my second semester, the thing that saved me is that this book has an e-text, so my book's always on my phone or on, any electronic device. So that's been, like a lifesaver. I don't have to carry my rolling backpack, and I still carry my lunch with me in my hand or strap it on to the backpack, whatever. So yeah, just beware. Don't buy anything new till you get there and see if your books come in an e-text version or whatever. So yeah, that's something important to know. Like I said, nursing school is hard, but it is doable. You have to make yourself an agenda and you have to study. My recommendation is read. Yeah, we all hate reading. I will be honest, I never really read for my prereqs because there was always a YouTube video. There were always, notes. There were always this. There was always that. It was a different story with nursing school. Basically, a lot of people that have gotten straight A's in prereqs and in other things have a hard time adjusting to nursing school because it is so different. Nothing matches. It's just a completely different story. And I'll tell you, for example, why it's so different. So, the questions are not like questions you'll get in anatomy or in physiology. There's no just one right answer. So, when you were in anatomy, they just ask you, what bone is this? You'd be like, oh, my thumb's there and it rotates. This bone is the radius, So, you just know that. And that was the only answer. You can't change the name of this bone. You just can't. You just know that was the answer. In nursing school, it's different. So I have this, nail polish here. And basically, they'll ask you what color this is. This is just, they're not going to ask you what color nail polish is, obviously. But they'll be like, what color is this? And they'll give you options like red, light red, cherry red, magenta red. And you're like, it's red. Like, you won't really think, like, you'll just, like, it's red. So every answer is true. You just have to pick the most true. So this says that it's cherry red. So that's how you'd know. That's your answer. Even though magenta red isn't really wrong, red isn't wrong, and whatever else I said wasn't wrong either. It'll just be like that. There'll just be some questions that you'll be like, they all sound right. So you just really have to get into the hang of doing questions on your own before tests. So sometimes there will be books that will have questions towards the end. Always do those. Always, always. Because when you get it wrong, there'll be a rationale behind it, and then you'll understand why you got it wrong, and you'll understand the whole process. Another thing is look for, study guides online. So just be like, let's say nursing musculoskeletal assessment questions, and just do those. Some of them pop out in Quizlet. There's also websites like, I think it's like nurselabs.com. They will really help you. And if you do questions, it just kind of eases you because you're training yourself to do questions, especially for the NCLEX. So when you sit down on a test, you won't feel as, that anxiety. You'll always get anxiety, but it's less anxiety because you're learning how to answer questions. So it's just completely different. Oh, this book. Not this book, but this book was given to me for when I bought my school bundle with books my first semester. And it'll basically have like little summaries of the chapter, and there's questions at the end. So there's a bunch of these books online. They're called NCLEX RN exam study guides or something like that. I've heard Saunders is really good. I don't really have it myself. The only reason I have this book is because it came with the bundle. Nursing school is really, you really can't work all that much, so you're pretty broke most of the time unless you have, a loved one or a family that will provide. But I've been blessed. I don't work right now. Nursing school is my 24/7 job. But for the people that work, try not to work, more than 12 hours a week. At least that's what they tell us, and that's what I think is like best to do. So that's a really good book you guys can buy. There's Pearson. Pearson has a bunch of reviews and rationales, and I know a girl that she basically failed her first or second nursing test, and she bought that book, and that was like a complete, turnaround for her. She did so much better after that. Another things you guys might need, a nursing diagnosis book. When you have care plans, they're going to ask you for nursing diagnoses. And this book is really helpful because in the beginning of the book, it'll tell you all, all these diagnoses, like real, diagnoses. For example, anemia. There, I'll look for that. So you go and it's alphabetical order. Anemia. And so it'll tell you like just regular anemia, anemia in pregnancy, anemia sickle cell, and you'll just see and you'll be like, oh, anxiety related to cause of disease, and then you just go in and look for your nursing diagnosis. So anxiety. We get to anxiety, it'll give you a brief definition of what anxiety is, defining characteristics, so this is things that you have seen on your patient, related factors, client outcomes, nursing interventions, and it'll separate it by independent, collaborative, pediatric, geriatric, and just a lot of that, client and discharge teaching. So This book has saved my butt many a times with nursing diagnoses. There's also great websites online, but I really recommend this book. I'm actually halfway through my second semester, so I just finished my OB clinical, and there's a little red handbook. It's called like maternal nursing, and that one has, you know, nursing diagnoses related to maternity. So that one's really good too. You're also going to need a nursing drug handbook. This is very important, especially if you have drug cards. We had drug cards our first semester. We had to turn in, you know, a few drug cards every week, and this book is really good. Another good resource is Davis. So you could just pick like, okay, I just opened the book to Janciclovir, and you will just Google Janciclovir Davis, and it'll come up, and it'll tell you almost everything is identical, but you have to see that there are a few discrepancies. So this one was the one that my school went with, so I usually go with whatever this has, but most of the time it's very the same. So if you don't want to carry this to clinicals or whatever, you can just Google that when you're in clinicals. Another thing I cannot stress enough is don't miss clinicals. Not only are you missing learning experiences, which is very, very, very important, sometimes they really, really, like your professors really hate it when you miss clinicals. I remember that the syllabus said that you can only miss 10% of clinicals, and I got really sick one night, and I texted my professor like at 2 a.m. Hey professor, I'm not going to be able to make it to clinicals because I am, you know, turned over in front of a toilet. Like, I just cannot. Like, I was belching it out and everything. But I will provide a doctor's note if you need it. And I know a 24-hour urgent care, so I went there like at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., whatever, like some crazy hour. And you know, I got my doctor's note, and I got everything I needed. But I had to make up my hours, and that's not that bad. But then later, you know, they were like, it was just a mess. Someone else had missed nurse clinicals, and they just were like, you guys can't, if you guys, you know, miss one more day, you'll get kicked out. Whether that's true or not, which it could be true, don't take that lightly. It's just better not to miss unless, you know, you're really, really dying. Like, I remember someone was like, just go to clinicals, and if they send you back, but at least they saw that you made it. So, but every school's different. I'm sure that there are schools that are more lenient towards that. Every school's different. But yeah, try not to miss. It's also very, like, it's a great learning experience. Try to participate in everything. When I mean participate, I'm not saying like go and do things that it's out of your scope of practice, but try to see, you know, if the patient is okay with it, if the doctor's okay with it, if the nurse is okay with it. Just try to see, because it is really a very, 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 very good learning experience. And yeah, just make sure that you have a good support system in school. Try to make friends. It's not a competition, and trust me, these friends, these classmates are going to get you through it. If you think that you can do it alone, that's great, but when you get to talk to someone that's actually going through it, you know, like, oh my god this, oh my god that, it's so much better. And they'll help you. I remember that I had to go into a room where they had like scabies and MRSA, and I was there with my friend, and we both did it, and we both cringed afterward, and we both texted each other after clinicals like, oh my god, I feel like burning my clothes, this and that. So it's just a nice experience. If you get something bad in a test, you know, you can rely on someone. If you guys make friends within your, school, you have someone to laugh with at lunch or during your breaks. So it's very, very important. But also have a good support system at home. I know sometimes it's hard. I know there's people that have children and demanding families, but you don't need any type of negativity. You are going through so much stress of school that if you can find something that, relaxes you, do it. It's just do it at least once a week. You need time for yourself, regardless of whether you have a pet, a child, a significant other. You know, you need something for you. And I remember that I had orientation and the girl came in and was like,
I only had 15 minutes for myself all first semester.
And I was like, oh my god, you know, like,
my boyfriend's gonna leave me, I'm not gonna see my family anymore, my rabbit's not gonna know me.
Like, I was just a mess. I thought I was going to be, like, in this hole, and it was just going to be me. I thought it was just going to be from my room to school and to clinicals. No, it's not like that. Especially if you are organized, it's not like that. You just do everything, do it ahead of time, and pick a day to at least relax yourself, at least for an hour. I'm not telling you to pick a whole day, like if that's too stressful for you. You know, just pick some time for yourself. I can't stress that enough. I remember that my boyfriend took me to Disneyland for my birthday, and I was having such a good time because of course it's Disneyland, but then I remembered, oh shit, I still haven't finished reading chapter yada yada, and I started, you know, like, but then you have to tell yourself, it's okay, you'll read it tomorrow, you know, you're doing fine, and just make sure that all your loved ones understand that this is such a hard, you know, career, and so much stress, so much assignments. Just have them understand, and if they understand, it's great. If they don't, just, I'm not saying to ignore them, but just try to brush it off. Sometimes people just speak, they don't know, but it's okay. Hopefully you guys like this video. It would have been a video I would have liked to see before starting nursing school, like things I didn't know, things to expect, that it is hard, but it is doable, and that you really need time for yourself. I thought I was not gonna see anybody. Like I said, I thought I wasn't gonna, you know, tan anymore because I was the zombie. Leave any questions down below because I'll answer them. I don't mind. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!